Okay, we'd like to welcome everyone to today's public information session and Q&A on Voyent Alert, the RDOS's routine notification and emergency alert system. A reminder that this session is being recorded and will be shared on the RDOS YouTube channel. Today, we will look at how to register, log in and manage your account and notification preferences on Voyent Alert, and then we'll open it up to general questions and answers. And we also have some admin support standing by for anyone needing one-on-one support with their Voyent Alert accounts today. During the overview, participants will be muted, but will be able to ask questions during the Q&A session by raising your hand or posting in the chat. Phone participants can press *3 to advise our team that you have a question. So introductions. First, I'd like to introduce our team. Some of us are here physically in the RDOS boardroom, some are online. From our RDOS communications team, we have Eric Thompson, Jess Brown, and myself, Sarah Foss. And we have our RDOS Voyent Alert admin support, Christy Steiff and Kim Raymer. As well, we have Danny Francisco, the RDOS Information Services Manager, providing technical support for today's meeting. And online, joining us, we have Brian McKinney, who is the president of iSoft Technologies, the provider of the Voyent Alert platform. So, a bit of an overview. What is Voyent Alert? So, Voyent Alert is a notification service specifically designed to meet the needs of regional governments, municipalities, first responders, institutions, and businesses. The platform serves the dual purpose of alerting and advising recipients during critical incidents, such as wildfires and floods, as well as providing targeted day-to-day communications. So first, we'll look at how to register for Voyent Alert. There are two ways to access this free-to-use service. Option one, which is the easiest, if you're able to, is to download the app. You can go to the Apple app or Google Play Store on your mobile device and search for Voyent Alert. You download and install the free app on your phone or tablet and follow through the prompts. You'll enter a street address that you're registering to receive notifications for, or you can select Use My Location. And you'll want to ensure that the map pin is in the correct location. We'll look at this a little bit later during the registering for online portion. You'll be prompted through notification permissions. You can enter your first and last name in your profile. The app is fairly easy to use, and there's no need to log in again once you've already downloaded it on your device. Okay. So next we're going to look at option 2, which allows you to register online to receive notifications via text, email, or voice calls. So from a web browser, you can go to register.voyent-alert.com and select your method of registration. So here's the website here for Voyent Alert. And if you scroll down near the bottom, you can see the options for the app. And then you can choose text, email, or voice calls. So for today, we'll choose email. Okay, and the first step is we'll enter an address that we'd like to receive notifications for. Today, we're going to use the Smilkameen Rec Center out in Kiramies. Okay, we can pretend that this is our home. If this is your work or another location, you can simply change the name up here under location name. And the first thing that you want to do is ensure that the map pin is in the correct location. Voyent Alert does use Google Maps to search for your address. We do know that in some rural communities, the address that you enter might not be the exact location of where you live. So you want to have a look at the map, and you can simply just click and drag the map pin to the correct location. You can do this on the app as well. get a confirmation that you want to subscribe to the RDOS as an alert provider. There's an opportunity for you to read the terms and conditions, the privacy policy. You'll need to agree to that, and that you also consent to receive notifications from Voyent Alert. So we've created just a dummy email address today for these purposes. You want to confirm that the information you entered is correct. So what that will do is it'll send you a 4-digit verification code to your method of registration. So either via email, or you'll get a text message, or you'll get a phone call to confirm. So here in our email address, we've got an email from Voyent Alert with that verification code 8453. That'll change every time that you log in. Okay, so if there are any active alerts for a location that you've entered, those will appear right away on the notification screen. That's the default for when you log in. Danny, can they see my screen? Okay. Okay, sounds good. So now once you're in your account, you want to go in and have a look at your locations, if there are any other locations that, that you want to add. Under My Contacts, you'll have your default contact method that you registered with, and then any other contact methods that you want to receive notifications on. So here we've got the main phone number for the RDOS. You may choose to receive notifications, routine notifications, say by your email or phone call. But some people might want to just get emergency notifications through a phone call. So we can select that there. Now, My Topics. When you first register for Voyent Alert, you'll automatically be subscribed to all of these different notification types. You can go into your account and you can select which kind of topics that you want to subscribe to. I'll mention up here, it's showing the town of Princeton. We do have a location in this account with the Princeton Town Hall. Princeton and a few of our other municipalities, such as Summerland and Oliver, are also using Voyent Alert. So you may receive alerts if you live within a municipality, then you may receive emergency alerts and other routine notifications from that municipality on Voyent Alert, and then more general notifications from the RDOS. Recently, we sent out a general notification with our 2023 citizen survey, which is now closed. Okay.
Sarah, can I jump in there?
Yeah, please.
My name is Eric Thompson. I am the communications supervisor here at the RDOS, and thank you so much, Sarah, for hosting this. I wanted to point out, if you could go back to that notifications list, one of the things that the RDOS hears a lot, one of the key points of feedback, is that people maybe are receiving too many messages. So if you can you go to the list that you can choose on which notifications you want. So if you don't want to receive all of those notices, as Sarah said, you deselect them. The one you can't deselect or unselect is emergencies. So the default for this system is emergencies. And some people feel that a system like this should only be used for emergencies, when in fact, Voyent Alert is really intended for emergencies and other notifications. So you can choose how you receive the other notifications. So for example, if you want to find out about roadway advisories or severe weather advisories or one of the other items on there, you can choose your notification method, which might be email, because then you're just receiving a bunch of emails which you can easily delete, as opposed to getting a notice on your phone, a text message, or even a phone call, which can be disconcerting for people. All of a sudden the phone rings. It is an automated voice, and that can be challenging for people as well. Why is this automated voice calling me? So by checking your account and your settings, and if you have any questions about that, you can contact Voyent Alert directly. They have a very helpful customer service program, or you can call the RDOS, because certainly that might be easier for people. Now, the one thing about those notification items that we've mentioned in there is, if you choose not to receive those notifications that you see the list there through Voyent Alert, you can always receive that information or go and find it yourself. You just won't know when it's coming out necessarily. But you can check the RDOS social media channels, Twitter and Facebook, and you can also check the RDOS website. Quite often those items will be on there, but not all of them. For example, when there's a public hearing related to planning, the calendar, the RDOS calendar on the website will list that. But to get instant notification of when these different things are happening and alerts, Voyent Alert really is the best method. But again, selecting how you receive those notifications might help you manage it a little better. So as I mentioned, email might be more convenient for you. So I just wanted to mention that because I think that's a really important point.
Yeah, that's a great point, Eric. Thank you. I just want to point out here too, with that, we did kind of mention that some of our other municipalities, like the town of Princeton, District of Summerland, and the town of Oliver, are also using Voyent Alert. So if you are subscribed to, some different locations within those boundaries, you'll see whether through your app or if you're logged in online, you can see the different alert providers that you're subscribed to. So here we've got the RDOS and then all the different alert topics that you can receive notifications for. So maybe from the RDOS, you just want to receive general notices and emergency alerts. That's all you're going to get from us. And then if you live within the town of Princeton or you have a location there that you want to get alerts for, then you can see they've got a few different types, right? So snow clearing and things like that. And you can use this little graph icon here too to see what notifications you're receiving on which method. And you can kind of pick and choose. So, and then I just want to show you under my profile, this option here. We've just got first name, last name in here. You're more than welcome to put your name in here. It's not necessary though. It does help us if you call into the RDOS or if you call into Voyent Alert directly for support. Just helps us identify you a little bit easier. And then if at any time you want to unsubscribe from the system, you can simply just choose the unsubscribe button here. It'll ask you if you want to confirm. And then that'll stop all alert notifications from Voyent Alert. It'll remove your account. If you change your mind and you want to sign back up again, you can do so at any time. Some people may only want to subscribe during, wildfire season and things like that. That's fine. Or if you're vacationing up here, you can pick and choose when you want to receive alerts. But again, like Eric mentioned, if you're only interested in emergency alerts, then we certainly encourage you to stay subscribed to Voyent Alert, and you'll get anything related to your location. So that's about it. As far as the system, we do have some how-to videos on the RDOS YouTube channel on how to register and how to manage your account. That goes through everything step by step. And then today's session we'll also put up on our YouTube channel after the fact. And now we can open it up to Q&As. I'm not sure if we have anybody joining us online or via phone. No, not at this time. Okay.
Now, this will be on YouTube, so someone who may be watching the recording will just remind you that if you are looking for any kind of support on your account, you can contact the RDOS directly, as Sarah mentioned earlier. You can phone the main phone number, 250-492-0237, 492-0237, and we can call you back Someone from the RDOS will call you back and provide some direct customer support. Or, of course, you can go directly to Voyent Alert. There are resource links available through the website and also a customer service phone number as well. One of the things that I think are one of the best parts of a Voyent Alert, a notification system, is that you don't have to guess when things are happening. So if you have this system in place, whether you have the app on your phone or you have signed up through the computer, you will know when things are happening in your community, whether it's a public meeting or whether there is a change in service, especially with regard to things like landfill or, garbage or recycling collection, that kind of thing. And also, more importantly, where this is vital is for those emergency alerts. If there's an evacuation alert, for example, and we're seeing that right now in the city of Fort St. John, where, like many communities, there are any number of emergencies that can occur on short notice. So the community of Fort St. John is under an evacuation alert. That means you need to be prepared. If that changes suddenly, then an evacuation order would be issued. Now, in this particular case, there are thousands of people involved. So by going door to door, which sometimes happens, we call it a tactical evacuation, that takes time. Whereas something like Voyent Alert, you'll receive a notification immediately, and you can choose how you receive that. Text messages are ideal because it shows up directly on your phone. Another thing I want to mention, Sarah, really quickly, is that there is a difference between what Voyent Alert, what that service is, versus what's called intrusion alerts, which comes from the province. So quite recently, last week actually, as part of Emergency Preparedness Week, there was a test notification. It came out at 1:55 in the afternoon, and if you were watching television, you may have seen the notification. If you had your phone handy, you would have heard a loud beeping, and you would have seen the message that said, "This is just a test." Those intrusion alerts come from the province, and those are for certain kinds of emergencies. But the notification from the RDOS is different, and it would be more localized. If the RDOS gets to the point where they have to ask the province to send out one of those alerts, it's probably a pretty big incident, but it takes a bit of time to put that together. So for something like an evacuation order, where all of a sudden the weather has changed and there is either a fire or some other emergency that's coming toward you, again, if you have Voyent Alert and you're signed up for that notification, you'll find out immediately on your phone if you have a phone, or if you have a landline, you'll get the phone will ring. That's really important for notification and for closing the gap so it doesn't take too much time. I think the only other key part of this whole Voyent Alert system is that it does take a bit of time to get to know how the system works. It's not an easy system in the sense that, you do have to log in, you have to be familiar with how it works. But that's why, if you're having challenges, maybe you're not into technology that much, or you even have elderly parents or friends or family members who need some help, call the RDOS and we can certainly help you out and provide some feedback. And the videos which you created, Sarah, are really helpful because they're step by step and you can walk through them. They're available on the RDOS YouTube channel, and they'll provide a bit more guidance, and you can do it at your leisure.
Thank you, Eric. So I think the only other thing I wanted to mention is that you don't need to be a resident of the RDOS to sign up for Voyent Alert. There are many other locations across Canada that are using this platform, and you don't have to have an address within the RDOS yourself to sign up for it. You may live down on the coast and have your elderly parents up here, or you could have your vacation cottage up here, and you want to keep tabs on anything going on emergency-wise or routine notifications. So Voyent Alert allows you to add any location that you want and as many locations as you want. The more the merrier. I will also point out that in the app, it has the ability to send you alerts based on your current location. So if you're driving up from Vancouver to the Okanagan and you're going through an area in the RDOS where there, may be an emergency going on, or it could be even an extreme weather alert that we wouldn't issue, but is issued through a third-party alert provider through the app, you'll receive that notification on your phone. So
Sarah, Brian McKinney, as you mentioned earlier, is joining this webinar. We'll call it a webinar. Brian is with the company behind Voyent Alert, and he is the president of IceSoft Technologies. Brian, did you want to join us to provide a little bit of feedback on maybe based on some of the feedback you're getting from people, if there's any misconceptions or any information you'd like to share about how Voyent Alert and this notification system can best help people who use it?
Sure. Thanks again for the invite. I certainly appreciate the opportunity in terms of getting it out. As you can appreciate, it's been a busy last couple of weeks between the Alberta fires and BC flooding that's been going on. Two things come to mind, and this is based on feedback that we generally get from the community. One is, people that have registered to receive Voyent Alert by way of voice call and landlines will often phone in and say, how do I unsubscribe from this topic group or this day-to-day thing? I don't want to hear about it, but I don't have access to the web to kind of log in and affect the profile. And what I would ask is that when you do get those voice calls, just be patient. At the end of the call, there'll be an instruction on how you can unsubscribe. So if you were receiving, say, a garbage pickup advisory and you decided you didn't want that, at the end of the call, you should hear a press 8 if you wish to unsubscribe from receiving any more calls of this nature on that one. So there is a mechanism that people can adjust their profile, if you will, on that one. And then the second point I think we want to point out is that with Voyent Alert, and you guys do this exceptionally well, is that relative to the broadcast intrusive style alerts that the province puts out, most of our clients use Voyent Alert in the lead up and in a lot of cases in the drawdown of an emergency event. So if we were to expect, say, a heat dome event, the province might put one out on the one day where it's super critical, whereas others might put it out in the build up to it, let you know, hey, this is coming, and here are some of your options. So it's not just that one and done kind of a thing. So there's a lot of context that can be provided. When we have communities that are in the process of an evacuation order, the province might issue a single alert saying, hey, get out now, which is important and great. But then once you're out of your house, a lot of times you want to understand maybe what's going on. And a lot of our clients use that to provide that context. We appreciate that you're out of your home. Please note that the RCMP are doing tours of the area to make sure, or the sprinkler systems have been turned on and activated, and giving updates. And we're seeing a lot of that higher level of engagement going on, today in all of the events that are happening around Western Canada here. That was it from my perspective.
Brian, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions if I could.
Yeah.
I know that there was a version 2 that was released recently for Voyent Alert. And I just wanted to clarify that in the coming, I guess we'll say months or however long it's going to take, there will be an option for local governments like the RDOS who are using Voyent Alert to record a voicemail or a voice message rather than have the automated voice. Is that something that's fairly close to happening, or I assume that it's not easy to put together, and then you've got that that part where you have to have somebody who can record a message and feel comfortable doing that on short notice versus the automated part, which is very consistent. Is that something that is in the works though?
It is, absolutely. And, we're working on it now. It would always be an option for yourselves, the person that transmitted. So if you had to get an evacuation order out and you didn't have time to do the voice record, you could just hit the button and go. And if you were given and afforded a little bit more time, then you'd want to be able to do it in a more kind of fulfilled manner. One of the things that we're very conscious of is, with other applications, you can afford bugs in the system and whatnot. We really need to make sure everything is buttoned up tight and the system is robust and isn't going to have negative implications with anything that we do. So, our testing and our QA environments are very rigorous to make sure that we have that robustness and stability in the process. But, you know, we're hoping to have that out here in the near future.
You get a lot of feedback. You mentioned some of it related to that message. What would you say is a big misconception about a system like Voyent Alert for people who maybe have signed up and then they've just kind of left it, and it's every once in a while they get these messages, they're not sure why, they're not sure how to deal with it. Is there some feedback you're getting from customers on using this system that either is working for them or not working for them?
So one of the things that's working for them quite well is the ability to provide a higher level of context. So we do a lot of geofencing and geo-targeting so that, when used, members in one part of the community might receive an alert because it's targeted for them, it's appropriate for them. Maybe it's a specific land use application, within a kilometer or two of their home. And others where it's maybe less of a concern shouldn't be getting or receiving those alerts in that sense. So there's an ability to profile that targeting. We also provide them with information about where their location might be relative to a given event. So maybe it's a commercial fire or a structure or a bridge outage, and provide that a little bit of context for them in terms of how they go. On the negative side, where you've asked, where have we gotten some of the concerns? A lot of it has to do with the profiling. And I don't want to receive this alert. How do I disable it and turn it off? And clearly there's mechanisms by which to do that, but we could probably do a much better job at communicating that to the general public.
All right. Well, Brian, thank you very much. I just want to mention that during last year's wildfires in this region, the RDOS was the Emergency Operations Center here at the RDOS. They were using Voyent Alert, and there were times where we had questions. So anyone who was working in the Emergency Operations Center as an information officer had a couple of questions. How can we best, as you mentioned, target a certain area so that we're not concerning other people? And how can we send out, say, an evacuation order to one area and then alert other people to the fact that this is happening? And you were very good about answering the phone. So I believe you're the president of the company, but you provided some very helpful support in real time over the phone. And that really made a big difference to the effectiveness of that communication. I'm going to leave with that one note, if you can add that for us on the emergency front. If there is an emergency such as a wildfire and an order goes out to a certain group of people, they have to leave the area. I mentioned there's an opportunity to provide an alert message that goes out as well. So that would be, because literally it could be your neighbor who's out on order and you're across the highway and you're not on an evacuation order. You don't have to leave your home, but you have to be prepared. You have to be on alert. Can you talk a bit about that system and how it works and the effectiveness of it to make sure that people in the entire community are aware of what's going on?
Sure. So, we're always a bigger advocate of broader communications rather than lesser communications. What we've noticed directly is that if you underinform people, it generally creates calls and anxiety that come in, and it's a burden on the first responders and the frontline communication staff that have to deal with it. Oftentimes during the middle of a crisis when they've got other things that they need to be doing as well. So the system is set up so that you can target an evacuation order zone, and maybe that's, 3 or 4 specific blocks at the edge of the community that are at greatest risk that you need to get them out of their homes. But in that same alert, you can contact people at a greater radius or a distance from that hotspot with a slightly different message. So it's entirely possible for one member of a community in a certain block radius to be told, hey, you need to evacuate. And another member in the community, maybe it's 100, 200 yards away that are just outside that zone, to be told, stand by to evacuate. You don't have to leave now. We think the situation's under control, but be prepared to do so. When you're receiving those alerts on your phone, you'll see 2 visuals on the phone. You'll see exactly where that hot spot is, where that evacuation zone is, and where your location is that you're monitoring is relative to that. So you'll be able to see, oh, I'm in the alert zone, I'm not in the evacuation order zone, for example, and it provides you some much needed context. We have some clients that have released alerts where the demarcation line goes right down the middle of the road. And absent that broader communication, we've seen how that can cause and create a lot of anxiety amongst community members. That has 2 things. One, it creates anxiety, but it also causes people to doubt the effectiveness and of the system, which is, hey, if Frank across the street got a message and I didn't, it must mean that the system is wrong, as opposed to, you know, he's supposed to go and I'm not. So context is important in those kind of considerations.
Yeah, and the other part of Voyent Alert is that in addition to providing the alert or order notification, additional resource information can be provided, for example, an evacuation route, or where is the reception center that we'd have to go to, and those types of things. So it gives you the opportunity to share additional and follow-up information. Brian, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We're going to wrap things up here now in the next couple of minutes on our Voyent Alert session, and I hope it's been really helpful for people. But thank you, Brian. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Good luck.
Thank you. Sarah, thanks for organizing this. Just want to
thank
mention
you.
a couple of things real quick then. If anyone who is watching this, we're live right now, but we're recording on Tuesday, May 16th at, we're just after 1 o'clock. But if you're watching the recording, there are people available who can help and provide some feedback on your account here at the RDOS. You can call the main number, 250-492-0237, or of course you can log into your account, and there are a number of ways that you can update your account. But again, watching some of the informational videos will probably help.
Yeah, we hope it's been helpful.
We'll leave it there.
Okay.
Thank you all. I think we have our support team over here. I don't think you can see them online, but thank you very much. And thanks to Danny Francisco. He's been organizing behind the scenes, so I'm going to wrap it up if that's okay.
That's great.
I think we're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank
everyone.
you very much.